What's in a question? Maybe just about everything important. A smart and sharp question should strike up the most engaging of conversations. So let's have ourselves a little discussion. Diane Yu joins us in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy hump day.
Happy Wednesday, everybody.
How are you doing?
Good.
You seem a little bit tired.
Do I?
I don't know.
The producer asked me if I wanted a cup of coffee.
Well, how are you?
I'm good. I don't drink coffee, actually.
Oh, okay. Wow, really?
No,
You're
I
like
don't.
the complete opposite from Nina.
I mean, I will sometimes maybe drink something like sweet, like a cafe mocha or, cappuccino, something like that.
Right.
But all my life, I never really drank
Wow,
coffee.
where do you get your caffeine then?
I don't.
Or you never need them?
I don't.
Wow.
Sometimes I'll drink like green tea.
Right.
But the caffeine used to make my eyes twitch.
Uh-huh.
And I get all jittery and I don't, my
Oh, you're
heart.
super sensitive.
And my heart kind of like beats, it doesn't like beat funny, but I just
Right.
don't like that
The jittery feeling.
jittery
Right.
feeling of caffeine. So
Interesting.
yeah. But anyways, it
Yes,
feels
coming back.
But as parents, as a parent, I feel like maybe I should start drinking coffee.
Right. Maybe sometime in
I
your
need
life.
something extra.
Yes,
I need
yes.
something extra.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's get back on topic and
Right.
talk about our question of the day
Plastics.
and the topic of the day. Give it to the listeners one more time.
So question, where are we headed with plastics? Right now, we use 5 trillion plastic bags per year. That's 160 a second and over 700 a year for every single person on the planet. And South Korea is contributing a lot to the statistics. The plastic bags usage is a problem in South Korea because 420 plastic bags are used per person every year. And South Korea's consumption of plastic packaging materials is the second highest in the world. In particular, the situation that plastic household waste continues to jump after the pandemic with all the delivery food.
That's right. Okay, so before really going deep into the topic, let's talk about plastic itself, the
Right.
word, because there's so many different categories, types
Right.
of plastic that exist in the world. So give us what the definition that we want to be
Right.
discussing within.
So it's just general. Plastics are a wide range of synthetic or semi-synthetic materials that use polymers as a main ingredient. Their plasticity makes it possible for plastic to be molded, extruded, or pressed into solid objects of various shapes. Fun fact is that the word plastic derives from the Greek plastikos, which actually means capable of being shaped or molded, and in turn from plastos, meaning molded. This adaptability plus a wide range of other properties such as being lightweight, durable, flexible, and inexpensive to produce has led to its widespread use. Plastics typically are made through human industrial systems. Most modern plastics are derived from fossil fuel-based chemicals like natural gas and petroleum.
Okay, and then talk to us. Many people may know, but just in case, why plastics are so bad for the environment.
So we were told that plastics are bad for the environment for the entire lives, I think. While they were rarely found during the 60s and 70s, their uses has increased at an alarming rate since they became popular during the 80s. Just take a look around you. Plastic bags can be seen hanging from the branches of trees, flying in the air on windy days, settled amongst bushes, and floating on rivers. They clog up gutters and drains, causing water and sewage to overflow and become the breeding grounds of germs and bacteria that cause diseases.
And the other big problem is they are extremely difficult to recycle.
Right. The plastic bags are difficult and costly to recycle, and most end up on landfill sites where they take around 300 years to photodegrade. They break down into tiny toxic particles that contaminate the soil and waterways and enter the food chain when animals accidentally ingest them. And we've been seeing incidents that when we dissect like fish, there's like plastics inside, and therefore we end up eating them. Yeah, but the problem surrounding waste plastic bags start long before they photodegrade. Our planet is becoming increasingly contaminated by our unnecessary use of plastic bags, black bin liners, plastic carrier bags carrying advertising logos, clear sandwich bags, and a variety of other forms are all polluting our environment. They're lightweight, handy, and easily discarded, perhaps too easily discarded.
And you talked about the microplastics problem. So the plastic doesn't go away after 300 years. It
Exactly.
just simply breaks down,
Right.
breaks down, into these tiny microscopic particles.
Right.
And like you talked about, they enter into our food chain. It's inevitable.
Right.
I just recently saw a Korean news show where they would randomly take grocery items. Well, it could be fish, it could be, meats or
Right.
whatever. And they gave it to a lab. And the only thing that didn't have a microplastic in it was milk.
Wow.
Because milk goes through such a heavy filtering system.
Right.
But every other food item that they chose from the grocery store to be dissected to see had microplastics in
That
it.
is so scary.
Yeah, and microplastics are not just coming from the food, the food chain itself. It also comes from the plastic containers that the food is in.
Right.
So even bottled water, like the plastic bottle, there could be microplastic chips in
Right.
it that we drink.
Well, that's not good news for you.
I know, that is not good news for me. So, this is a huge problem, and when the microplastics enter our bodies and enter into our bloodstreams, it could cause, it
Some health
could be
consequences,
minor, but
right.
it could also be major health
Right.
consequences.
And we can ask to Dr. Tan someday.
Yes, absolutely. That's a great
Right,
topic.
yeah.
So to combat this issue, South Korea has been trying to do the whole 분리수거 recycling thing for, decades
Right.
now. But they're also starting to implement more heavier-handed laws in terms of plastic usage.
Right. That's the reason why I brought up topic today. From the 24th of next month, convenience stores will no longer be able to put items in disposable plastic bags. This policy is an extension of the fact that the use of plastic bags was banned at large retail stores in 2019. Right now, if you go to big retailers like E-Mart, Lotte Mart, SSG Market, and more, you only have a choice of either choosing to pay for garbage bags or paper bags for your grocery shopping items. It's the same thing for convenience stores now. If you consider just one convenience store company, you can reduce the average monthly use of 20 million disposable plastic bags, hence the implementation of this policy.
Yes, the convenience store ones, I think they're gonna get a lot more backlash.
Of course.
The big grocery stores, they've been on this policy for several years, and it's been pretty smooth. I know for E-Mart actually gives you the big reusable bags.
Right, you can choose to buy that
Yeah,
one.
you could actually
Right.
purchase it, but then if you return it to the store, they
Yeah.
give you the full amount
Right,
back.
right.
So people have been using that a lot. But the convenience store policy, I don't know. There's going to be some backlash on this. There's already, I read news on how the Convenience Store Owners Association is pushing back on it a little
Right.
bit just because the customers demand it when
Yeah.
they buy multiple items. They want something to carry their items in. And, you see certain news stories about where the customers kind of react negatively
Right.
and abuse the convenience workers, whether it's verbally or physically,
Right.
for charging them for the
Yeah,
plastic
yeah,
bag,
yeah.
etc. Yeah.
So it's just scary. And I think it's just going against the word convenience store, right? People go to convenience store for convenience, but then if they can't use plastic bags, I guess there's going to be a big backlash.
So what are they doing? Do they have to jump over to recycled paper bags or?
Well, just like the large retail stores, they have to choose between paid garbage bags or or paper bags.
So describe the whole garbage bag system for listeners who are unfamiliar with that.
So in South Korea, we have this paid garbage bag system. It's divided into different sectors in according to areas. So Mapogu has its own garbage bag system, and so other districts have its own garbage system. And we have to pay for its amount, like 5 liters, 10 liters. It's you have to pay more for bigger garbage bags, basically.
Right. So to elaborate on that a little bit further, every time we take out trash in South Korea, you have to have the trash in an official trash bag that we have to buy from the government. So what they did was when you're taking groceries from the grocery store and they give you a plastic bag, that plastic bag is purchased by you, and that plastic bag is it becomes the official garbage bag for later when after you take out all the groceries, and you could just put it into the trash bin and use it as the trash bag.
Right.
So that's what we're talking about, and so now everybody who goes to a convenience store will have to purchase a garbage bag, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Another change in policy for restaurants and cafes.
Right. The number of disposable items that cannot be used in restaurants or cafes is increasing. Disposable cups and plates, wooden toothpicks, chopsticks, and plastic straws are all unavailable from next month. Plastic bags for wet umbrellas are also not allowed. And only so-called eco-friendly straws made from rice, paper, or other materials such as bamboo are allowed inside the store. Now, Juwon mentioned that corn-based straws are not really eco-friendly, but I thought that I would have to make another segment, whole entire segment, for the plastic straws next time.
Okay, sounds good. We've kind of seen this trend in the restaurant and cafe section or industry globally, how they're kind of moving away. You see more stainless steel straws, and the move away from plastics. So I think this is a good thing. Sometimes the restaurants use plastics just because they don't want to deal with dishes.
Yeah.
But then it does a lot of environmental damage, right? So this kind of trend you could also see in Europe.
Right. So Canada, France, and the UK are drawing attention as they are joining the fight to eradicate plastics. Starting with Canada, Canada has announced that it will not manufacture or import major single-use plastic products from December. The Canadian government has banned the manufacture and import of 6 products, including plastic bags, straws, and takeout containers, and will also ban sales from the end of next year. Exports of single-use plastic products will also be banned from the end of 2025. The Canadian government expects to see the effect of reducing more than 1.3 million tons of plastic waste over the next 10 years.
Okay, and then you talked about France. What are they doing?
Right, so France has already banned the provision of plastic straws, tableware, and sticks in January last year, and has also banned plastic bags from this year. France began enacting a law this year to ban plastic packaging for 30 types of fruits and vegetables with relatively hard skins. A grace period is granted right now for some fruits and vegetables that are easy to soften. But from 2026, the ban on packaging will be extended to all of them. And there's the UK as well. The UK, which declared a war on plastics last year, announced a policy to ban the use of disposable plastic tableware and cotton swabs to impose a plastic packaging tax. The UK introduced this tax in April, levying a tax if the recycling rate for packaging material is less than 30%.
Okay, and from the science sector, we do have some good news.
Yes.
Very quickly for time constraints, but there might be a solution in the horizon.
Right. Now we may never have to recycle plastics and reuse plastic. Dr. Greg Beckham's research team at the National Renewable Energy Research Institute reported in the international journal Science that we have succeeded in converting waste mixed with various types of plastics into useful chemicals by combining chemical catalysts and genetically modified microorganisms. So therefore, they have changed plastics into something we can reuse, which is really good news.
Right. So basically, plastic-eating bacteria is what they've invented. Of course, this is still in the very nascent research point in the timeline.
Right.
But if it expands, we might have a solution.
To plastics, yes.
Yes. Diane, thank you so much for the topic, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow.